Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another awesome episode of Damos in the Class. Today's aim is adding and subtracting decimals. So today we will be using this menu. Jamir and his friends go to breakfast. At the end of the meal, they must determine how much each person owes using the receipt. So using the receipt, we're going to answer 5 questions. Our first question is, Jamir ordered the cheese omelet, hot chocolate, and a side of toast. How much does he owe, not including the tax? Right, so like the problem says, Jamir ordered a cheese omelet, and that cost $7.29. And that was for the cheese omelet. Then he ordered a side of toast for $2.29. And then he ordered a hot chocolate, and that was for $1.69. And I'll give you a second so you can write all that down. All right, so because we're dealing with money and not just regular decimals, we're going to put in our dollar sign. I like to do a S and 2 lines. You can do 1, but I like 2. And we are going to add all of these up so we can see how much Jamir spent. All right, so we're going to treat this like any other addition problem. And we have 3 9s. You can either go 9 plus 9 plus 9, or you could do 9 times 3. What's 9 times 3?
9 times 3 is 27.
Great job. So we put our 7 here, and we carry our 2.
2 plus 2
is how much?
4.
All right. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus another 2. 4 plus 2 is how much?
6.
All right, great job. And 6 plus 6 is how much?
12.
There we go. Great job. So now we get a 12. We put our 2 down at the bottom. We carry our 1, and we make sure we put in our decimal.
Mm-hmm. And 1 plus 7
Mm-hmm.
equals 8.
Mm-hmm.
8 plus 2
Mm-hmm.
equals 9. No, 10.
Exactly. And 10 plus 1 is how much?
11.
Great job. So we get a price of $11.27. That is the total that Jamir will be spending for his breakfast. So for the next question, Jalea ordered pancakes, a side of bacon, and orange juice. She also says that she will take care of the tax. How much does she owe? So for our second problem, like it said, Jalea, she ordered the pancakes. And the pancakes cost $8.79. So we have $8.79. Make sure we put our dollar sign. And that's for our pancakes. Then she ordered a side of bacon. And that was $2.59. Make sure we put our dollar sign. We always want to put our dollar sign because we're dealing with money. All right? And then she also ordered an orange juice. And the orange juice cost $2.99. And I'm writing out each thing because we want to know exactly what we're paying for so we can make sure that we are getting everything off this menu so we can make sure it's all paid up. All right? And so Jalea, she decided that she was going to do what? She said she was going to also take care of the tax. So the tax, we're going to do that after. So first we're just going to get how much we got now, and then we'll move on to add the tax. And I'll give you a couple of minutes so you can get all of that written down. All of that written down, we're going to add those all up. And we're going to get what you call is a subtotal. And then we'll add the tax. So again, like the last problem, we have 3 9s. And 3 9s, you can either do repeated addition, which would be 9 plus 9 plus 9. Or you could simply just do 9 times 3.
9 times 3, 27.
Great job. So we put our 7 and we carry our 2.
2 plus 7.
Is?
9.
All right. And then 9 plus 5.
14.
Exactly. And then 14 plus 9.
15. 23.
What we said, 9 and 4 is 14. 40, yep, 23. All right, and then we carry our 2, and we have our 3. And make sure we put our decimal point. Very important.
2 plus 8.
Is?
10.
And 10 plus 2.
12.
And 12 plus 2.
14.
All right, great job. So far we get an answer of $14.37. Right, so like we said, that's going to be our subtotal in this case. So I'm just going to write subtotal. And the reason why we say subtotal is because we're going to add something more to it. Jalea said she was going to pay the tax. And the tax is $3.54. So we're just going to add $3.54 right up underneath that. Make sure we put our $sign and our plus. And we're also going to label that as tax. We want to label everything so we know exactly what we're doing. And I will give you a couple of seconds so you can get all of that written down. All right, so now that we have all of that written, we're just going to keep on adding. We have 7 plus 4 is how much?
11.
Great job. So we put our 1 and we carry our 1.
1 plus 3 equals 4.
4 plus 5 is?
9.
Great job. So we put our 9 and we make sure we put our decimal point.
And now 14 plus 3. 16.
Almost, quite. So instead of trying to
17.
rush, exactly, it's 17. But the easiest way to make sure you don't mess up is you just do the 4 plus 3 is how much?
4 plus 3 equals 7.
Exactly. So we put our 7, and then we know 1 plus 0 is just the 1, so we bring that down, and that gives us a total of $17 and 91 cents.
91 cents.
Great job. All right, for question number 3, Jared ordered French toast, and he plans to leave a $7 tip to cover everyone. If he pays with a $20 bill, how much change should he receive? Third problem, like it says, Jared ordered the French toast and also said he was going to pay the $7 tip, right? And so the French toast is $8.49, and that's for the French toast. And he also said he was going to pay the $7 tip. And I'm going to give you a couple seconds to make sure you get all of that written down. All right, so we're going to go in and we're just going to add. So we have 9 and a 0. So we know that we just bring that 9 down, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a 4 and a 0.
Yeah, just bring the 4 down.
Just bring the 4 down. And we make sure we put our decimal point in, which is very important. And then we have 8 plus 7.
15.
Great job. So now we get a total of $15.49. That's how much Jared paid. But there's a second part to this problem. It says that if he paid with a $20 bill, then how much would his change be? So for that, we need to then do what? How do we find out the change?
We have to subtract.
Exactly. So we put our $20 bill. And we put our total of $15.49 right underneath. And we're going to subtract. So I did include bill and total because I want you to be very clear on what each amount stands for. All right, so if we have $20 and we need to take away $15.49, we have a 0 over 9. Can we do that?
No, we have to borrow from the 2.
Exactly, great job. So we're going to go over to the 2. We're going to cross that out, make that a 1. And then we're going to make this a 10.
A 10.
But do we still have enough to take 0 from 9?
No.
So then what we need to do?
We have to cross it out and then make 0 a 10.
We did that already when we borrowed. That's already a 10. So what do we need to do?
We have to go to the next 0.
No. What do we need to do? We can't go anywhere. We're here. These are zeros. What do we do from the 10?
We count up.
What are we counting up? We need to start here. We haven't done anything here.
We have to borrow from that 0 and make that 10.
It's not a 0 we're not borrowing from. We borrowed from the 2. We made it a 1. This is a 10.
So we have to borrow from the 1.
From the what? This is not a 1. This is 10. So what are we doing?
We have to borrow from the 10.
Uh-huh.
And make the 0. The other 0.
It's not a 0. We're borrowing from the 10, and then what do we do first?
And then we make the next one a 10.
No, there's no next one. We're still at this 10 here. When we borrow, then what happens to the 10? This is a 10. When we borrow, what happens?
We have to make that a 0.
No. We don't go from 10 to 0. We're at 10. If we're going to borrow...
We have to make that 9.
Thank you. We borrow from the 10. We make that a 9. And this one becomes a 10 next to it, right? But do we have enough to still subtract from here?
No, so we have to make that a 9.
Exactly. So we cross out this 10, make this a 9, and then we add our 1 to that, which makes that a 10. Now, do we have enough to subtract?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 10, we take away 9. How much is left?
1.
Great job. So we have 1 left here. Now here we have a 9, take away 4.
We got 5.
Great job. 5 left. Make sure you put in your decimal. Then we have a 9, take away 5.
4.
We have 4 left. Great job. And then 1 and 1, there's nothing left. We don't write the 0. We just bring down our dollar sign. And we have now, his change is going to be $4.51. That is Jared's change. Great job. So number 4, Yolanda ordered the remaining items. If she only has a $10 bill, how much will she need to borrow from one of her friends? So moving on to problem number 4, Yolanda, she's going to order the remaining items, right? So the remaining items is going to be the grits, and that's for $3.99. Right? And then she also ordered a hot chocolate, and that was for $1.69. And then she also ordered the side of fruit for $4.39. And we're going to add those up. And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes so you can get all of that written down. All right. So once again, we have 1, 2, 3 9s. So how much is that?
27.
Great job. So we put our 7. We carry our 2.
2 plus 9.
Is?
9. No. 11.
All right. Then 11 plus 6.
11 plus 6. 17.
All right. And 17 plus 3.
20.
Great job. So we put our 0. We carry our 2. And we make sure we put our decimal.
Now 2 plus 3.
Is?
5.
All right. And 5 plus 1.
Equals 6.
And 6 plus 4.
Equals 10.
Great job. So we get a price of $10.07. That is Yolanda's total. But we have a second part to this too. It says, if she only has a $10 bill, then how much would she need to borrow from her friends? She only has $10. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put it right underneath here. She only has $10. I'm putting it right up underneath this answer here. This is how much she has. So this is all she has. So I'm just going to write what she has. Oh, no, matter of fact, I'm sorry. I'm just going to write what she needs to borrow. So I'm just going to write borrow. Because this is going to, well, no, I'm sorry once again. I'm just going to write, this is how much she has. She has a $10 bill. We're just going to write bill. I'm sorry, guys. Didn't mean to confuse you. Going to put our decimal, our dollar sign. And we're going to subtract that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And this should be an easy fix, correct?
Yeah.
So we have 7 and a 0. So what do we do?
7 and 0. We just put the 7.
Exactly. We just put our 7. We have a 0 and a 0. So what do we put?
The 0.
And our decimal, we have a 0 and a 0.
We just put the 0.
All right. And so for money, we don't need to keep going. So how much does she need to borrow? This represents how much she needs to borrow. How much does she need to borrow?
0.7.
And we say in money, we would say 7 cents.
7 cents.
So 7 cents is how much Yolanda needs to borrow for her meal. Exactly. Great job. So question 5 says, how much more did Jaliyah spend on breakfast than Jamir? The last problem for this assignment, it said, how much more did Jaliyah spend on breakfast than Jamir? So we're going to see how much more did they spend. So Jamir had, how much did Jamir have? Jamir had $11.27 and Jaliyah had $17.91. So we're going to put our $17.91 first because it's the most. And we're just going to put Jaliyah's name here. Always so we can know what we're doing and who we're talking about. And then Jamir, you had $11.27. And how do we find out how much more? What does that mean?
We have to subtract.
Exactly. We have to subtract. So I'm going to give you a second and let you write that out. All right. So we're going to subtract. And we have 1 take away 7. Can we do that?
No, let the borrow.
All right. So we're going to borrow from where?
The 9.
All right. We're going to make that a what?
The 8.
All right. Great job. And the 8 is on top. And we put our 1 that we borrowed next to this one. And it makes it 11.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have 11 take away 7 is how much?
4.
All right. And then 8 take away 2 is how much?
6.
Great job. And make sure you put in your decimal. And then we have 7 take away 1.
Who's 8? No.
Take away 1, not add.
6.
All right. And then 1 take away 1. We don't write zeros, so we just bring down our dollar sign. And we get $6.64. That's how much more that was spent on breakfast. Just going to write, that's how much more spent. Great job. You've made it to the end of the video, and I really hope you got something out of it. And always remember, it's not what you don't know, but what you're willing to learn. Until the next time, I hope to see you there.